I found a town that doesn't exist on any GPS, but when I went, I found more than I ever could have imagined. No road signs are pointing towards it. I would have never even known it existed if I hadn't found a pile of old county maps in my grandfather's attic. It began when I was doing research for a family history project for my class. I was supposed to research and write about where each generation of my family had lived since immigrating to America. It wasn't hard at first. I knew my parents had grown up in Philly, just like me. All I knew about my grandpa's history was that he moved here sometime in his late 20s. I asked my parents where he was from, to no avail. I knew I couldn't ask him. Grandpa hardly spoke ever since he started losing his memory. I drove to my grandfather's house to see if my grandma would be able to help. It had been a while since I'd seen them anyway. It was a struggle finding their house. I drove around for almost an hour looking for it. I can never remember exactly where it is. My grandma wasn't much help. All she said was that it was named Croft Pines. He had never told her much either. She let me look through some of his old boxes in the attic. I found a stack of old maps, all dated from before 1963, that showed a town that didn't appear on any online maps. It was at the end of a 13-mile dead-end road. I've always been a sucker for abandoned places. I asked my girlfriend, Abby, if she'd want to go on a road trip with me to see what we could find out. Worst case scenario, we find some run-down buildings and get to explore a bit, maybe some pictures for my project. Abby was excited for the trip, and we left the day after. The drive was mostly uneventful. Just a few-hour drive into upstate New York. Abby was my navigator for the whole drive, reading the maps and telling me when to turn. We got onto the long dead-end road around 6:40 p.m. The road felt far longer than the 13 miles the map had said it was. But then, all of a sudden, it stopped. We got out and looked around for the town and decided to follow a long dirt trail that led into the woods. Abby was getting nervous and said to me, "David, this feels wrong. We should go back to the car and come back tomorrow when it's brighter out." I told her we would keep going for another 20 minutes, then turn back. Abby was getting nervous and said to me, "David, this feels wrong. We should go back to the car and come back tomorrow when it's brighter out." I told her we would keep going for another 20 minutes, then turn back. We walked for what felt like much longer than 20 minutes, but my watch said it had only been 3. As I looked up from my watch, I saw the glow of a light up ahead. We got closer and saw that there was a full town. Houses, small shops, and an inn. We didn't want to walk back to the car so late, so we went into the inn to get a room. Abby kept looking around nervously and whispering that she was scared of this place. I couldn't blame her. I was getting nervous here too. Everyone was barefoot, walking around on dirt paths. There weren't any cars, not even a bicycle. Even the innkeeper seemed off. I don't think he ever even blinked. The innkeeper smiled at us and handed us a key. "You'll be in room 3. We thanked him and headed for the stairs. A little girl stopped us as we walked. "Your suitcase has wheels." "It won't like that." Odd, but little kids are always creepy. We went upstairs and collapsed into bed. We fell asleep almost immediately, but we didn't rest well. We both had nightmares all night, and when we woke up, we realized that we both had the same dream. Something growing, moving deep beneath us. Maybe we had seen something that stuck with us on the way in. Who knows? I left Abby in the room and went to bring the car closer to the inn. There was a dirt lot next to it anyway. Might as well park there. The walk back to the car felt much faster than it did last night. I drove slowly across the dirt trail and parked next to the inn. But I could have sworn it was on the other side of the street when I had left. I must have been half asleep still, or something. I parked the car and went in to find Abby talking with an old lady and her grandson. The old lady stopped talking as soon as I walked in and stared at me, then out the window at the car. "You shouldn't have brought wheels here. It remembers them. They hurt it." She then hurriedly grabbed her grandson's hand and led him out of the building, not even paying for her food. Everybody else in the dining room just side-eyed me silently until I went upstairs with Abby. Once we got the door closed, she sat me down and asked, "Have you seen any power lines?" What? I asked her. "There's obviously electricity here, but I haven't seen any power lines." There were none on the road in and none in the town. I looked out the window and surveyed the area. Sure enough, no power lines anywhere. Okay, weird enough, but we still have to get some more information about the town. We went out to walk around town to see if maybe there was a library. Something's seriously off with these people. They never talk outside. They don't laugh. Everyone just walks with no real purpose. The ground felt as if it was moving under our feet. Stones seemed to move into strange rune-like shapes when we weren't looking. Abby nudged me. "Do you see him? There's a guy behind that tree over there." A man was frowning while peeking at us from behind a tree. "Okay, fuck this. We're leaving today. I don't like this shit." We turned around to go back to the inn, but everything was gone. It was just a long dirt trail again. Abby screamed, "What the hell? Where the fuck did it go?" We were both shaken to our core. How does an entire town disappear like that? Only seconds after, the trees started creaking and moving unnaturally. They contorted with a groan into an archway, revealing another trail. We walked to look down the trail and saw the glow of a fire at the end, with people surrounding it. "I'm not going down there," I said to Abby, and she agreed. We hurried down the long trail, trying to find anything else. But no matter how much we walked, we always ended up right next to that trail. We could hear people at the end chatting. With no other choice, we walked towards them. I don't know why we did. We never should have gone down that trail. Everyone from the town was at the end of the trail, all surrounding a hole going deep into the earth. They turned to look at us. "You woke it up, you rolled over it. It felt you. Now it's hungry." Before either of us could react, several of the townspeople rushed us and held us down. "Oh fuck, God please no, we're leaving," I screamed. The innkeeper walked up to me. "You can't leave yet. If you do, it'll take us all. You see, it wants a sacrifice to soothe itself. We've found that sometimes a limb is enough, or," he paused, "or sometimes it wants more. A loved one." I wasn't given a chance to speak. They held a hand over my mouth as Abby was held down. One of them produced an old rusty hand saw and began sawing away at Abby's left leg. She screamed and thrashed but couldn't get away. Eventually she passed out, and all I could do was watch with tears in my eyes. They took her now severed leg and threw it into the hole. A hush fell over the crowd. A deep, unnatural rumble came from within the hole. "Not enough, not enough," everyone muttered in unison. The innkeeper came back to me. "I'm sorry about your little girlfriend. She seemed nice." As soon as he finished talking, Abby's body was dragged over to the hole. They dropped her in. I never heard her hit the bottom. The hole rumbled again, louder and louder. The grip around me loosened, and they let me go. Run. The innkeeper shouted at me. I ran down the trail and found the car somehow right at the end. I got in and sped away. I made it home before nightfall. I couldn't go to the police. They'd never believe me. I don't know what else to do. Please, whatever you do, don't visit Croft Pines, New York. It will eat your memories, your life, everything. I don't know what I've done. My city is disappearing. I've woken something horrible. Places I've lived, streets I used to know, they're fading. I look at a map and nothing feels real anymore. If any of you know about this and can help, please do. I'm running out of hope. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this.